This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis.
It's the Morning Majlis.
Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Hi everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Majlis, the show where we talk about the latest developments from Sharjah, from the region, and from around the world as well. And we have so many news stories to go through this morning, particularly the latest with regards to the TikTok situation. The September 15th, that's today, and that's the deadline that was given to TikTok to either sell to a US-based company or risk shutting down. And US tech firm Oracle has emerged as the trusted technology partner, quote unquote, that TikTok's owner had assigned. So we're going to talk about how this deal played out, what exactly it entailed, and also the politics behind it as well. So stay tuned for that discussion. Plus, Rania, September 15th, a lot is happening today.
So much is happening today. It's an important day. So many developments are taking place as we speak or took place. Locally, Sharjah has resumed its intercity bus service at 50% capacity. Jubail bus station has reopened as well. That is today. Regionally speaking, Saudi Arabia has eased some restrictions as they have decided that citizens of the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC states, as well as expats and their dependents on valid visa will be allowed to enter the kingdom effective from today. We're going to talk more about that. And internationally, yes, just like Ahmed mentioned, we talked about the TikTok's deadline that is today. So Oracle, yes, has won the bid for TikTok in the US, as Ahmed just mentioned.
Wow, well, look at that. A very, very busy day today indeed,
yeah.
and lots to celebrate and lots to also mark. So it's going to be something that we will be discussing in greater detail. But up next is the big announcement that took place yesterday.
The biggest of them all.
Biggest of them all, really, because they had announced again that there's going to be a special COVID-19 briefing, 7 p.m. yesterday. Got everyone back on their feet once again, thinking, what's happening now? And then we did have a very, very a fruitful announcement, you could say, because it is the declaration that for an emergency purpose, we're going to be using that COVID-19 vaccination. So far, over 31,000 have been trialed for the vaccine that was being tested here in the United Arab Emirates as well as Bahrain, and so far no major side effects have been detected, so it is good news. Well, we'll be talking about that in greater detail, so stay tuned to Pulse 95.
join the conversation with the Morning Majlis. Pulse 95.
You are responsible.
That was me, by the way.
Yes, we could see that and hear that. That was Rania giving us that little bit of an update. And why? Because COVID-19 situation here in the United Arab Emirates. 777 new cases were announced. And yesterday at 7 p.m., we had a big announcement. Ahmed Dawood, lots to sort of celebrate and you could say something that we definitely needed.
Absolutely, and this is a major announcement by the UAE Ministry of Health and Prevention saying they have approved emergency use of the COVID-19 vaccine that is being trialed in the United Arab Emirates, and emergency use of the inactivated vaccine developed by Sinopharm and G42 Group in Abu Dhabi will be available to frontline workers who are at the highest risk of contracting the virus. According to the health minister, this would protect them from any dangers. And the quote here from the Minister of Health and Prevention, Abdul Rahman bin Mohammed Al-Awais, saying the vaccine emergency approval for use is fully aligned with regulations and laws which permit an accelerated authorization process. He said the results of the first and second test phases of the vaccine show that it is safe, effective, and triggered the right response. He said there's a very specific criteria as to who's eligible for this emergency use of the vaccine. And he said that the ministry is working closely with the vaccine's developer to ensure the safety and viability of this initiative.
Indeed, Ahmed, and those tests involved 31,000 volunteers that had shown the vaccine to be safe. And according to chairwoman of the National Clinical Committee for COVID-19, Dr. Nawal Al-Kaabi, she said volunteers felt only minor symptoms, such as a sore throat during the trial. But going back to what Mr. Al-Awais said, the emergency use of the vaccine is fully and completely compatible with the laws and regulations. He's ensuring everyone. And he said that our goal is to provide all safety means for the first line of defense to protect them from any dangers they may face due to the nature of their work. The results of studies during the final stages of the third phase showed that the vaccine is effective and resulted in a strong response and the generation of antibodies to the virus. Studies on the safety of the vaccination also have been reviewed and showed that it is safe for use. Mr. Al-Awais said the move to make the vaccine available on a limited basis initially was a significant step forward in efforts to protect the lives.
Well, Dr. Nawal Al-Ka'bi, who was giving us a little bit of a lowdown on what's going on, they confirmed that the evaluation of the vaccine for emergency use was based on a number of key criteria for the qualification, includes declaration by the global health authorities of an emergency leading to a serious life-threatening disease or conditions such as the COVID-19 pandemic, availability of scientific evidence that proves its effectiveness of the product intended for emergency response, the safety of its use, and the potential benefits of the products outweigh the known and potential risks.
Yeah, and this is a very important development for frontline workers who need something like this as quickly as possible because they're exposed to higher viral loads. When you get exposed to COVID-19 in any form, it's not this monolithic thing that's the same for everybody else. The more you deal with people who are infected with COVID-19, the higher the viral load, which has an impact on the strength and severity of the symptoms you experience. And this vaccine in particular has been successful. The Chinese pharmaceutical company Sinopharm secured approval for the trial in late June. And the experimental phases passed phase 1 and 2 of clinical trials with, catch this, 100% of the volunteers generating antibodies after 2 doses in 28 days. And Abu Dhabi government said that this has been a successful trial so far. And according to the American Centers for Disease and Control, inactivated vaccines made with either killed viruses or with a protein from the virus are well known and have been used effectively against diseases such as influenza and measles as well.
Yeah, I think the 100% trial success rates for the first 2 trials just gives a little bit of a confidence boost to the authorities and even our listeners when they hear of this. And the clinical trials volunteers are slightly lucky as well, because they can use the emergency lane to drive into Abu Dhabi. No issues. They don't have to be stopped. They don't have to show anything in terms of being positive or not, because being a vaccine volunteer or someone who's been vaccinated, then you've been given that free pass to be commuting to the nation's capital. Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. Lots to discuss this morning, and up next we'll be talking about the big discussion over in the United States with Oracle also putting in the bid to be the US partner for ByteDance. What's happened? We'll be talking about that in greater detail, so stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis. Pulse 95.
Big day of developments today. Big, huge day. Well, today, we talked about today in Sharjah, we have the intercity buses. They're resuming their operations at 50% capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking now regionally in Saudi Arabia. They are partially lifting the suspension of international flights starting from today. This comes after 6 months of travel restrictions being imposed because of the coronavirus pandemic situation. So the kingdom will end all restrictions on air, land, and sea transport after January 1st, 2021, on a specific date to be announced in December. So it's not going to be on January 1st, it's going to be after. That will be announced in December. Meanwhile, Gulf state citizens and non-Saudis with Iqama or residency permits or visit visas even may enter the kingdom from starting from today, provided they have tested negative for the coronavirus in the previous 2 days or 48 hours. Other exceptional categories, such as government and military employees, foreign embassy workers, and people requiring medical treatment, will also be allowed entry and exit starting from today as well.
Yeah, and this is also important for Saudi students in particular, as Saudi citizens studying abroad can now get that exception as far as traveling. And it covers scholarship students, self-sponsored students, trainees in medical fellowship programs whose studies or training require travel to other countries as well. And those students have spoken out to media about the impact of this and how they could go to the universities they had been accepted in countries abroad.
Yeah, and looking at Saudi Arabia's big development, isn't it? They said something about GCC residents as well. But we will be talking in greater detail in terms of what's happening over in Saudi Arabia. But when you were talking about the 15th of September, the big day, right?
Yeah, they've decided that citizens of the Gulf the GCC states, as well as expats and their dependents on valid visa will be allowed to enter the kingdom effective from today.
Valid visa off to enter Saudi Arabia. So that's very good, and it's really good to see this is going to be happening as well. Non-Saudis with Iqama residency permits or even visit visas may enter the kingdom from the 15th of September, provided they tested negative for the coronavirus in the previous 48 hours. That stands to be very consistent.
It does, and we're seeing a lot of changes as well. According to reports, a plan will be announced to allow the performing of Umrah gradually in light of developments related to the pandemic. But as of now, it isn't strictly about students or the other categories that we've discussed. Those who are participating in official sporting events will also be permitted. Humanitarian cases as well, people who are seeking reunification with their relatives residing outside of Saudi Arabia or those tending to the passing of a family member will be allowed. So there are a number of very important exceptions there. Also ones for business persons who are required to travel to conduct commercial and industrial activities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and it is something that I'm sure a lot of travelers will be celebrating, a lot of businessmen as well, because lots of business does get conducted between Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, a number of companies registered in both places. Well, one thing that really comes to our minds is would we be willing to travel as well? Is this the new norm with the lifting of restrictions? Do you think it's something that you could potentially consider?
Oh, yeah. I would.
Yeah?
I'm down for it. Yeah.
Down for it?
I can't get over my fear of airplanes. So unless it's some kind of emergency, I don't see myself boarding one anytime soon.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because what really happens is you come across this new rules, because I did take 2 days off, made it a long weekend, and I did consider traveling to the UK. And I thought, you know what, let's make it a long weekend and fly off. But then I realized that in the UK, it's still, the UAE is still on the list. So when I land,
mandatory
quarantine,
14
that's
days.
such a massive
Is it 14 days?
14 days.
14 days,
Yeah.
So I spoke to our HR here, and they were like, yeah, good luck taking 14 days off, you know, why might as well. And what, 14 days for what? Just staying at home.
No,
and then you're done after that, and then it's just
not effective.
Yeah, and there's a lot of uncertainty as well. I mean, say you're mid-vacation and suddenly cases spike and you have new measures and you have to go back. That's a whole nother situation you have to deal with.
That's a whole nother thing, yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone's thinking about that as well.
Exactly.
It's not just about booking your flight. It's not even just about making conducting the COVID-19 tests. It's not about that anymore. It's about what just Ahmed mentioned as well. So
quarantine, the fear of that.
So much to go along with it.
Exactly. So that is considered to be a little bit of deterrent indeed. But good news has emerged that Saudi Arabia is now beginning to ease the travel restrictions. They said from 15th of September, from today onwards, which is good news. But when you guys were talking about 15th of September being a big day, on the 15th of September, 1978, Muhammad Ali won the world heavyweight boxing title for the third time in his career
Really?
and became the first ever fighter to do so. Another big development that happened on the 15th of September. Now, this date is going to send jitters and nerves around the world. 15th of September 2008, Wall Street brokerage firm Lehman Brothers.
Oh, no.
They collapsed.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Okay.
brokerage firm had to eventually file for bankruptcy under Chapter 11, and that became the largest victim of the subprime mortgage crisis that devastated the financial markets and was the biggest economic downturn since the Great Depression. But we shall be discussing other big stories. Up next, we will be talking about humanitarian gestures, particularly that comes from Sharjah. What's happening? Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Social Media Minute. Today's clickbait worth talking about.
Worth talking about.
Social Media Minute.
Well, Alphabet Inc.'s YouTube is rolling out its version of social media rival TikTok, a new short-form video service called Shorts, enabled within its video sharing platform. YouTube will first test the feature in India over the next few days and then expand to more countries in the coming months, as it said recently. So YouTube's new product, which will compete with Facebook Inc.'s Reels and TikTok, will let users record short, mobile-friendly vertical videos and then add special effects and soundtracks pulled from a music library.
Yeah, this is interesting, and YouTube Shorts, it's what it's called, and it's similar to TikTok in that it lets people make those 15-second videos where you could set the background music, and according to a YouTube spokesperson, there will be an in-product music picker feature, which currently has hundreds of thousands of tracks, and they're working with music artists, labels, and publishers to make more of their content available. A big deal that they're testing this in India now, given it had banned TikTok. And YouTube is going to try to get as many people as possible to use its new Shorts feature. Not the most surprising development, because we've seen YouTube pull this before. They've had a story feature similar to the one employed in Snapchat and Instagram as well. And they also have a foray into live streaming. So whenever something goes big, YouTube has to try to get a piece of the action. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
Very interesting. It looks like the YouTube's entry into the short-form video service actually coincides with the TikTok's ban in one of its biggest markets, which is India, following the country's escalating tensions with China. But the name, YouTube Shorts.
Shorts.
Doesn't have the whole... Yeah.
Because it's like
No.
15 seconds or less. So it's Shorts.
MySpace trousers? No. No?
It's too long.
Too long? Oh. We can give them an idea, MySpace. You can come back into the market and competition. But YouTube Shorts.
Shorts.
Shorts. YouTube
Not
Shorts.
shorts.
It is shorts.
Shorts.
Oh, well. Okay. Well,
Instagram's been doing the same thing too. They're putting out a Reels feature as well. It's exactly similar to TikTok, but it's funny because when they put the Reels feature on, people were just simply reposting videos that had been popular on TikTok already. So all those new TikTok competitors might be having a bit of a hard time as people cannot let go of their favorite platform.
Exactly. Well, it's just appealing to those people who want short videos and not short videos.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go. Well, stay with us.
Short.
We'll keep this segment very short. And then we will be
Yeah.
returning right after the news. Not news headlines. We'll
Now
be
you're speaking proper English. There you go.
There we go.
We'll do the awkward silence over there. Why not? Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We'll be returning very, very shortly.
This is What If?
What if?
Theoretical options to consider.
This is What If?
Big question of the day. Would you like to go to space and live in Venus?
No,
No?
never. I love Earth.
Yeah, it's
I love planet Earth. I'm staying.
I was expecting a lot more of a positive response.
Nope.
No.
I love planet Earth.
Well,
Not leaving it.
Well, the reason why we're talking
Sticking
about
to the roots.
sticking to the roots. Well, the reason why we're talking about this is because the Future Talk's best mates live, apparently,
Best mates.
are living on Venus.
Best mates being like aliens?
Yep, aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're the big
They love
fan of
aliens?
They
Okay.
do. Now, scientists over this week said they've detected in the harshly acidic clouds of Venus a gas called phosphine. Is this something you're aware of, given your periodic table existing in your living room? No? Okay. Phosphine indicates
really.
microbes that may...
But I know it's a toxic gas.
Oh.
That's what I know of.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah.
A smelly, flammable gas. It annihilates life forms that rely on oxygen for survival. But the irony here is seeing this noxious gas could be, in fact, evidence for life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and this is because scientists say that on rocky planets such as Venus and Earth, phosphine can only be made by life, whether human or microbe. And we've had a pretty long history of phosphine on planet Earth. It was used as a chemical weapon during World War I, a byproduct of various industries as well, but it is also made naturally by some species of anaerobic bacteria, organizations that live in the oxygen-starved environments of landfills and marshlands, and even animal guts as well. And that's got scientists scratching their heads as well. Why are we seeing phosphine? And is this evidence of the presence of alien metabolisms? They suggested aiming the sharpest telescopes of the future at these far planets to detect more signs of this gas and try to answer some of humanity's most long sought after questions. Are there, or is there, any life outside of planet Earth?
I'm pretty sure the aliens on Venus must be thinking and looking at the Earth and thinking, oh, is there normal life up there?
Right?
And then thinking, oh, we can't get there at all. And then comes a human space craft that decides to venture in and explore the untapped territory. Surface temperatures reach 471 degrees Celsius.
Oof.
So it's not that bad.
Not that bad. No.
Not that bad at all.
Yeah.
Tolerable.
It is worth noting, however, that scientists themselves aren't even sure of the validity of the data. They said that this detection of phosphine could be false. And they say these false flags are introduced by telescopes or errors in the data processing as well. But put simply, phosphine shouldn't exist in Venus's atmosphere unless there is life. It's simply too hard to make, and the chemistry of clouds should destroy the molecules before they could accumulate into observed amounts. So if they verify this development, it's going to be tremendously exciting, and there will be that, it will essentially signal heavily that there is, in fact, life on planet Mars. But they just have to verify if the data is real. So that's currently the heated debate taking place between scientists.
You'd always think, oh no, it's just a little bit of a false hope. It's not a reality. But NASA's administrator Jim Burdenstein tweeted saying that these new findings are the most significant development yet in building the case for life off the planet Earth.
Yeah, it's major. It definitely is. But it wouldn't mean that we could go on planet Mars as well. The surface, or Venus, excuse me, because its surface can reach 900 degrees Fahrenheit as well. It roasts rocks, and there's enormous pressure as well, 90 times more than is what is felt on the planet's surface. And the atmosphere of Venus is particularly suffocating as well. There's a lot of sulfuric acid clouds on that surface as well. So it's pretty interesting reading more about Venus and learning more about the conditions there. It's not friendly to us, but might be friendly to some other folks out
But it
there.
is the closest planetary neighbor to Earth.
Definitely.
The
Yeah.
sister planet is what they used to describe it as. Well, something we can potentially add to our to-do list is potentially venturing off to Venus. Stay with us on the Morning Majlis. It's time now to get back to reality and speak about the world of business news headlines
And
then
the world of real estate.
and the world of real estate indeed. And we shall be returning right after that, continuing the discussions right here on the Morning Majlis.
Pulse 95. You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.